Just go. Boy, that was a very, very weird motion from our producer, Ryan, who was waiting for it to go, and then I see this arm go, just start talking. I'm sure it's good enough. Well, guess what? It's been less than 14 hours since we finished our post-game show, and we're right back here. So why mess around with heavy-handed words? Let's just do the DLS Stars podcast on a Wednesday. Pretty sure it's a Wednesday. Maybe. This is the DLS Stars podcast on Wednesday. We did confirm Wednesday, October 15th, alongside Craig Ludwig.
Hump Day.
It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day for you. Craig Ludwig here. Sean Shapiro is over there. There he is. Our producers, Ryan Vaughters, possibly been demoted back to Private Ryan, according to the chat last night, the chat was very harsh after a Stars win.
After you picked your man of the match, should be Boldy, right?
Yeah, I got attacked a little bit for being a quote-unquote turncoat from GM Ben just because I picked a Minnesota Wild player. By the way, Matt Boldy was awesome. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us. A little bit of the day after to start this one. Later, we are going to get into our victory green carpet impressions about some of the fashion, just because why not? Luds is really excited to share his opinions on the whole thing.
Looking forward to it.
But a little bit of last night carryovers. The Stars have now won 3 games in 3. So they are one of 2 teams left standing without a blemish on their record, even though one of them was a shootout win. It still counts, 2 points. Sean, I didn't pick Rope Hintz for my man of the match. Neither did either of you two. But I gave him a lot of credit and then said, but I'm not picking him because Matt Boldy was great. Well, then I saw Michael Dixon, who does the Stars radio broadcast now, posted I don't know if it was Instat or Money, one of the analytic sites where they do like the impact for each player. And there's sort of a bar graph right or left of how positive or negative. Rope Hintz was on the top of that chart, which to me very much confirmed what I saw watching, which was he was really flying out there last night.
Are you trying to defend the fact you picked Matt Boldy again? What are you trying to
Said Rope Hintz was really good last night. Now, okay, never mind. Sean, we'll just put Sean right off the screen over there. We'll go to Luds. Luds, how you doing today?
Oh, awesome. Happy. I am so happy to be here.
No. Sean's got he's in the penalty box. He's got to sit in timeout. They can't see Sean for like 15 seconds. Yeah, like that. All right, bring him back. That's fine.
Good. I mean, another Stars win. I don't know if you're a part of the coaching staff, if you're super pumped. I mean, you're happy that you're 3-0, but I'm not sure that you're super pumped on how the games are going. I think there's pockets and there's holes, which there always is. But the good news is it's easier to fix things when you're winning than it is when you're losing.
Would you like to hear Glen Gulutzan say pretty much the same thing?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, let's play Gully. This is a clip from last night's postgame.
No, they're getting the whole formula. I mean, some of the system changes weren't really involved in any of the and we're probably going to have to get on that a little bit too, because some of the system changes aren't causing some of the problems. So, simple problems like puck play, that was a problem I thought today. Being sure-handed at the lines was a bit of a problem today. Unforced errors was a bit of a problem in my mind today. Our breakouts were a bit of a problem. For me, those are the things we just continue to clean up, practice, clean up. Now, again, it's early, but some of the system changes in my mind, just talking with the guys and our coaching staff, are helping us. I mean, the shots on goal, it doesn't always tell a story, but you don't want to be taking in as much water as that, but some of it is perimeter water too.
So our speaker was so quiet on that. Sean, you're not in the penalty box anymore. Is Sean still here? There he is. Hi, Sean. Could you hear that?
I could hear that. Yes.
Good. Okay. So give me your impression of what Gully just said, because Luds looked at me
I
and
was
goes,
trying. I took lip
"Read
reading
lips."
in college, but I couldn't handle it there.
Yeah.
So.
Was this lip reading class? Was it before or after the sit down Luds where they said, "Yeah, I've got nothing left for you here"?
No,
Those
it
are
was
my
like when bartender. No, it was like when you're looking at a bartender. He's like,
Yeah.
"Want another one?" Like, yes, I
Yes.
do. That was it.
It was. I mean, it was a lot of. To be honest, it's a lot of coach speak saying I've changed systems and done the right thing, and it takes some time. Like I think that's kind of my biggest takeaway from it. One of the things I give Glenn credit for is he does attempt to explain his decisions and explain them to a public facing audience. He does that a lot more than some other coaches. So I give him credit for that. But there's also a lot of coach speak in that. And I just gave a coach speak answer about coach speak. If no one understood what I talked about, the last 2 minutes were completely useless. So
Yes. Well, at least I'm not putting it back in the penalty box yet, but the threat is always there.
yes.
The point that I wanted him to make is to what you said, Luds, is that it's not perfect hockey. They're winning when they're doing it, which is a better way to learn than it is to start to feel the pressure of getting, Colorado has 7 points in 4 games. The only point they lost was the shootout loss to Dallas. They're in first in the NHL in points. Of course, they've played one more game than Dallas has. The Stars and Hurricanes are 3-0-0. If you go 1-2 because you slipped up against the Jets and then you lose that shootout and you have 3 points or 2 points, and now all of a sudden you're 4 or 5 points behind Colorado after a week, you go, holy heck, that's, again, things even out over the long term. But then you start thinking, wow, we got to make sure we don't lose too much ground.
Well, here's like when you look at the games, and so I went back and I just looked at the game last night, right, and the other one. I mean, you can take out the Winnipeg game. I take it out because Winnipeg was missing some key players. Their captain's not there.
Yep.
They got a defenseman not there. Ehlers is gone. Blah blah blah.
Perfetti's hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're missing some guys. But when I look at the last 2 games, and you go look at Colorado. So Dallas, I mean, they're being outshot. Let's see, this one here, 17-4 in the third period last night, 17-4 versus Colorado. 2 periods they're outshot, 14-5 and 16-11.
What periods were they?
I think it was first and third.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you look at it like that, half of the last 2 games, they're being outplayed, out zone timed and things like that. So I kind of go back and I go, that's kind of sums up how the playoffs kind of went. Like a lot of goaltending. And Jake has been good. Yeah, and he's give up some goals. I guess Sean would be better off picking a couple apart that should have been saved or not been saved. But there is a lot of that. But the good news is they are clicking when it comes to their offense, which is what I think Gully knew that coming in and wanted to tweak some things defensively to lend a hand to the goaltender. And even when you did a piece there with Jake the other day, he was almost biting his bottom lip off not to say anything negative
Yes.
to what's going on in front of him. So, and which is all fine. It's part of the process. Like I said, it's nice to be undefeated right now. But when Gully does an interview like that, in his mind, he's going, okay, we're 3-0. I got to be positive here. But I got to lay something out there that we still have a lot of things that we need to work on.
And that was what it was funny because the question for the clip we played which you guys all heard and Luds did not.
I had no idea.
Was the question was asked, are you giving them the system in pieces or have you laid it all out there? And he said, no, honestly, all of it. But he said the issues we're having are not systemically related right now. It's individual stuff and things that will only iron out with more practice.
And I can see that. You can see that. And I brought up Liam Bichel because I think there's little things that are happening with Bichel that we didn't see last year, but this is that sophomore year. And, the first year went really well. And normally you think you're just going to step into it. And so, but I do think he's kind of in between as far as what they played last year and this year. And he's not the only one. There's other guys that are, that are stepping around out there in their own zone. So, but again, they're having a good time at the other end of the rink, which is great. And the good news is, like I said, is this will get ironed out. They are gonna figure it out. The coaching staff will get them to go, and once they do that, the one area that I keep on seeing, it's same as last year, is in front of the goaltender. When the puck is on a half wall, one side or the other, you see all the good teams in the league, especially when I look at Florida, there is no time and space on that side where the puck is. Dallas has their one defenseman and offside winger, for me, are too wide. They're not in the middle of the ice. In other words, in that high danger area where I would prefer that they would be there so you don't open the door should something break down along the wall.
Sean, you wrote a piece for your Shap Shots site, which is via Substack, about, and you hinted at this last night in the post-game show, about the Stars have fought in the last 2 games, both response fights, not going out trying to do something for show at the start of a game or anything, but they have 2 fighting majors in 3 games this season, and that is at least an early trend, very different from the last few years.
Yes, it is. And it's and kind of the point I made last night, I made it a little bit on our show and then in written word as well. This is a team that Glen Gulutzan was on the other side in the other locker room last year when he watched a guy on his team go and give a big 2-handed whack to Rope Hentz's foot, break it, and saw the Stars do nothing. And then basically it was like, oh, well, we can do what we want. And that is, I think from a Stars perspective, they're not going, I think I used the words on the show last night, they're not going to fight their way to a championship or anything like that. But it is a team that over the past couple of years, historically speaking, has shown an unwillingness to respond physically to some of those repercussions and those and when teams do the underhanded things against them. And I think for me to go and see what Justin Riskovian does and then Alexander Petrovic does the last 2 nights, last 2 games, I think it's important because when Glen Gulutzan has talked so much about, hey, the hand-to-hand combat, and he's not talking about fighting, he's talking about the style of play on the ice. But when you're talking about being there as a group and being there for everyone, I think the Stars are showing some response that they weren't willing to show before. And I think part of that is they've been given the full green light from their coach, which was not necessarily the play before. There was way more of a, yes, you want to burn a team on the power play when they commit a penalty, but it's also not bad to show you can't just be pushed around a little bit as well. So
yeah, and Sean, I agree. And this isn't. I think we throw the word identity around like a lot, and this isn't changing. In my opinion, they're not changing their identity; they're adding to it. And remember, one of the most interesting things and comments that I perked up in Gully's first, I might have even been in the summer, is when he wanted to talk about adding 1% more of physicality. And I was like, 1% more. But then he said from each player. So you're basically trying to add 20%. I guess this is the way he's doing his math. But by the fighting and the physicality and standing up. But now I think around the league, maybe not yet, but around the league, teams are going to notice that too. Because players watch all the replays. They saw Petro jump in there last night and all that kind of stuff. So they're going to go, well, they never did that before. But new coach had some in his time there in Edmonton, and in the past in Edmonton, they've had some pretty big bad dudes in that organization, and they need somebody like that over there to protect their 2 top superstars in the league, right? And Darnell Nurse and guys like that. So I think that's where this is coming from, and I enjoy it. And this is all part of leading up. You're playing 82. When you get, you now are going to be a tougher team to play against at the most important time.
Luz, there's a comment in the chat from Big Dad Russ who says, I have noticed more players finishing checks instead of turning away from them. Have you noticed that in 3
because
games?
it's more straight lines. Like I talked about it all the time. And again, with some of our players, our younger kids do the same thing. They skate like hell to get in forecheck players, and then that player that has the puck, he moves the puck to somebody else. And I get as close to you and they throw the brakes on.
Yeah.
I'm like, all you have to do is finish the guy. It's not an illegal play. Just finish him. And then what happens is you wear not just the good players on the opposing team down, you wear their team down. And then what happens in relation to all that stuff, now they know that you're coming and you're finishing your hits. They're making plays quicker than they want to. And you're looking around, you're like, where's the next guy going to come from? That all adds up to being able to take pucks away, spend more time in the offensive zone, less time in your own zone. And I think it all adds up to more of a complete hockey game.
I agree. I watched a skills video last year I think it was for, I could have gotten this wrong. I want to say it could have been ESPN. It might have been TNT. Blake Bolden, who is one of the analysts as part of the NHL's national coverage, was on the ice with Jacob Trouba. And I believe he was still with the Rangers at the time. So it might have even been an older clip. But he talked about wanting someone to go for the hit in his defensive zone because then he can control it. He can absorb that and make a play either direction. But that still means you have to, initiate and let him know you're coming. And maybe he, even though he's a big guy, not everybody's Jacob Trouba size, maybe they still have to think about moving it just a hair faster.
But what happens is when I was talking about earlier about having 5 men, I talk about numbers being closer to where the puck is. Everything that you're talking about there, where he can absorb it and make a little play, there is no time and space to make that little play. Even if you don't get your check finished or somebody doesn't finish you, when you look up and you get the puck and you look up and you're wearing white jerseys and they're wearing dark, you're like, all you see is dark jerseys in this small area. And so the only open ice is to go through all of that, or maybe behind the wall or behind the goaltender, but then that's a loose puck.
Yep.
Now people attack that. So that's why I go back to the area in front, down the lane there. The Royal Road, I think, is the way that the goaltenders like to call that area.
All right, we'll talk more about this, including a update from Matt Duchene from Glen Gulutzan and more. And how about Joe Pavelski here on the DLS Stars podcast?
I'll do it for you. Ding.
Ding.
This is the Owen Newkirk read. When that property tax bill hits your mailbox, it'll hurt knowing you could have saved money with and using Ownwell. Ownwell. Is your mortgage going up due to an increase in your property tax bill? It's time to set yourself up for big savings next year with Ownwell. Their local tax experts fight for you to keep more of that hard-earned money in your wallet where it belongs. Next year, make sure you're only paying what's fair, all without hearings, paperwork, or wasted weekends. In just 3 minutes, you can sign up at ownwell.com. If you have real estate in Texas, you know how expensive and complicated it can be. How big was that payment? How much did it go up? Just think about how much out of your pocket over the years. You'll love saving money on your property taxes without having to do anything. 86% of Ownwell's customers get their assessed and reduced, and it's a value that you get on that, and you're saving on property taxes. Have I mentioned the company's called Ownwell? Well, I just want to make sure that you guys know that. They deliver top results with an average of $1,100 in savings. Sign up at ownwell.com/Texas. That's OWNWELL.com/Texas.
Thanks, lads. Let's talk about Shady Rays. You know that moment, the one where you realize that you've stepped on your sunglasses. They should have been on the table or the counter, but they got knocked off maybe by the dog, although why would the dog be on the table or the counter? Maybe by a cat. And now your precious sunglasses are in pieces. Or maybe you left them at the rink when you were so excited about that, Roddick Foxa empty netter because you knew that the game was in hand. Or maybe you left them out on the green carpet. Well, the great thing about Shady Rays is that they make seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and also not stupidly expensive sunglasses, and they have lost or broken replacement protection, meaning that you'll actually wear them. If you ever do it even on day one, they will get you another pair. Send them to you. It's great. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring an exclusive offer. As you see the code at the bottom of the screen, go to shadyrays.com, use the code DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, let's talk about Matt Duchene briefly. If you want to get our full breakdown of the hit last night with Jake Middleton, check out our post-game show because we spent a pretty good amount of time on the hit and all the reaction to that. But according to Glen Gulutzan today, they started with practice scheduled for 11:30. Then after the game was very late last night, changed to noon. Then it got quickly changed this morning to an optional skate. Gully said, and Robert Tiffin is reporting this, saying Gully's tone was fairly optimistic. Said he wouldn't rule out Matt Duchene for tomorrow's game against Vancouver. Called him day-to-day for now. I don't know if that means that Matt Duchene is going to play tomorrow, but just the fact that it's not immediately ruled out and we'll see, Luds, is, I think, a good sign.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was expecting to hear he's probably going to miss a game or two. because it looked like it, was right on the button. The good news is he got himself off the ice and, himself, and I know he got a little help at the end, but he was able to stay on his feet and absorb as much of that as he could. But I was just saying, I was expecting this morning, we talked, like you said, we talked about it at length last night. I was saying, when you listen to any of the sports stations this morning and anything that had to do with hockey, I didn't hear one single comment about the hit, which I guess that means that everybody else kind of went, well, it's a hit, and that's just what hockey is. So, you're hoping that, because again, if there's going to be an injury to anybody on this team this year, you're better off having it happen early, right? And but when you look down the middle of the ice, not that Sam Steele couldn't fill into that role, but to lose a guy in your top six when you're still looking for a true top six in there, to me would be difficult.
Sean, I don't know if you had a chance to rewatch any of the game this morning after last night, because you obviously watched the game and were on the post-game show. But one of the things we noticed from the press box, I say we, it was myself, Abby from DLS was there, Robert was to my right. We were talking about how much they at times moved. They started with Steele up with Hintz and Rantanen, but there were times and circumstances, whether it was an offensive zone start or certain situations where Robertson was up there, and times where Wyatt was moved up to play with Duchene and Sagan pre-injury. And then after the injury, they had, sort of moving things around a bit. But there were times where they really loaded up the top six, and other times, and we've seen this throughout the first three games, where they've had them more spread out over the top nine.
I mean, yes, you observed that, and you observed well. Like, good job observing that, because that's what's been happening. My point is
no. Mute Sean's mic. I'm trying to set you up to make your comments. Do you want me to give the opinions? Let's not let Sean talk today. I'm going to tell you what I saw and what it means. What are you doing?
No, here's my point.
Jesus, can we just get along? You two?
We went over all of this last night too, of the fact of, yes, they are going to, other than a dedicated fourth line that is lower in the time hierarchy of usage, he is basically juggling and putting things into place as they fit into the moment. And it is, I like it. It's something that has been good to see. I think I made the point on the postgame show last night where this is something where I think from a team perspective, and I made the point on the show last night, if we all remember this, was players are realizing that those who are playing well, those who are cooking, those who are taking advantage of certain situations are going to continue to get more opportunity. There's more to earn. There's more to take. Someone asked in the postgame show last night of whether what we've been seeing about the Stars, what's been different. And I thought last season under Pete DeBoer, one of the things about it was when you roll four lines equally, you play those 12 to 16 minutes the same no matter what. I think so. I think it's a good motivational tactic for the Stars to use. It's a good tactical one. It's a good schematical one. I think it's a really good motivational one. And I think, I'm sorry, Owen, I'm not trying to give you crud about this. I'm trying to figure out what language I'm allowed to use without getting censored now. But
you're on thin ice, Shapiro.
If this is what they are going to do, this is how they are going to use their lineup. And honestly, it's one of my favorite coaching techniques of all time because the lines don't freaking matter. That's the best part. Now all of you guys can talk about the lines and be like, oh my God, they're going to play this line and this line and that line and this line and that line. Well, no, it doesn't matter at all because they're going to play everyone together and it's great. Now I never have to answer another line question ever again. So put me in the penalty box. I'm gone. We're out.
All right. So slide him off the screen for a minute. He deserves that. I want to talk about Wyatt Johnston for a minute. And I'm going to ask Luds because Sean is being petulant and he has to be treated as such. Jake was asked about the fact that Wyatt has now scored goals in all three games to start the year. Obviously, his goal last night was a thing of beauty, and he recognized that Middleton didn't have a stick on the power play, made a great move. Here's Jake's response when asked about Wyatt scoring in 3 games so far.
Yeah, I think it's not shocking, for anyone that's in this room or, around him. He's just, wants to be one of the best players in the world and works really hard and, feels like he's been here for 5-6 years and he's still 17. So it's, I think the best is yet to come, which is scary for other people because of how good he already is.
it's always nice to see the friends, the good friends that all these guys are, and they got that little smirk they're trying not to let out, but they're also, and especially from a goaltender, he's like, dude, I got to see this every day. I see this, what this kid can do every single day. And they know that he's probably just scratching the surface. And, like when you go back to talking about the lines and things like that, and I get the experiment and all this kind of stuff, who can play up there. There is such a difference when Robo's up there versus Sam Steele.
Thank you, Sean. And this is the appropriate response.
Oh, I didn't. Well, yeah, I wasn't even listening to Sean. I mean, no disrespect, but I was thinking. And I noticed it last night because I started writing it down. As a matter of fact, the first note I wrote halfway through the first period was, and again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm throwing Sam under the bus. Sam, not our Sam, wherever he may be. Actually, he may have been hit by a bus. We don't know where he is.
Unconfirmed.
I would say, and the first thing I wrote down is like, Sam Steele doesn't belong with those guys. And again, that's not no disrespect, but when you see Robo out there, especially the new Robo or the old Robo, whatever you want to call, the way that he's playing with those three, they have a determination, those three, where they want to dominate games. That you can see him playing that. And Steele doesn't get pucks to those two guys like Robo does. Those two guys get to a guy like Robo that they know that it's getting on net, and a lot of times it's going to go in the net. It's like Steele and Blackwell are his go-to when it comes to PK. Yep. So the minutes for Sam Steele should be in a certain area. If you're going to have to kill penalties, a little bit more work that you do down there. So that's just my 2 cents with Sam. And again, I don't want. I just see a different line out there when Robo's up there, especially the way he's playing this year.
All right, Sean, I'm going to bring up another topic, and I'm curious whether you deem
Make sure
this
you answer it the way Owen wants you to. You're going to get cut off again.
I just don't want him to say, thanks for the observation. Joe Pavelski dropped the ceremonial puck last night as part of the pomp and circumstance of the home opener. And we have a video from Abby, who is there down at ice level. She's actually standing behind the star that drops down for the intros. There's Joe as he was walking out. She was shooting the center hung scoreboard. We call it a Jumbotron, but it's not the right brand. And then we have a great photo of Joe actually lining up with Wyatt, who's serving as an alternate captain here.
I'm getting Twitters that are asking me, how come there's no bell on you guys? You guys do the
Oh, yeah.
bell?
Well, that's on Ryan. There is Wyatt came in out and served this
Who's
one.
that dropping the puck?
That's Joe Pavelski. Oh, you just can't hear it because the microphone or the speaker's so low. Yeah, hit the big one, Ryan. Oh, oh no, he just broke the bell. The bell did not work for Ryan today. That was a big fail. I wish you could have seen it. But anyway, Jamie Benn not, of course, in the lineup right now. He's injured, so Wyatt's out there. I'm just telling you this, Sean, this is an observation from the press box when Joe was introduced. It was a deafening roar inside the AAC.
Did they acknowledge Jamie Benn at all during intros yesterday, Owen?
Yes. Jamie was actually on the bench along with Oscar Beck and Ilya Lyubushkin and Adam Ernie, the scratches, healthy and injured scratches, in street clothes, and they were announced one by one.
So was the joke, because I always from home openers, it's always been Jamie's always gotten the loudest ovation typically, right? So where on a scale from a Jamie Benn introduction from Jamie's introduction to the Joe Pavelski unveiling, where were they on similar kind of levels there? Is that what you're telling me?
Jamie got a really loud cheer when he was introduced, but I think there's a difference. I mean, again, he waved to the crowd, and then you see the camera's lingering on him, and he's kind of like, okay, that's enough. Jamie, he doesn't want that spotlight. I feel like it's different when he skates through the tunnel than just standing on the bench. It was still a wonderful ovation for him. The Pavelski one, maybe it's because I was excited because we haven't seen Joe for a little while. And so when thank you. There you go, Ryan. We actually heard that one. So anyway, that was fun. Here's one more clip for you real quick.
Okay.
From Rope Hintz.
Say that again. One more quick for you here.
One clip really quickly. Rope Hintz does not give a lot of great answers in the media because maybe it's his second language, maybe it's just his personality, sort of quick and answers very short, sort of terse answers. But look at his facial reaction when he was asked about Joe Pavelski last night.
Yeah, I love that. Got to see him before the game too, so it was great to see him, and yeah, he's a great guy. I love that guy, so it was great to see him.
He wasn't really smiling a whole lot during his post-game interaction, except for when he talked about two things: Essa scoring a goal, and then Joe. He lightened right up. And so, right, some players are better than others when it comes to doing scrums in front of a media, especially in front of cameras. But you could tell Pavelski gets brought up, and he very much lightened up.
Yeah.
Sean?
He's been a big part of, and those guys were younger, right? And the guys that we're talking about, especially Wyatt, and Wyatt, obviously was a roommate and son of his. But I think that here's my question is, with all the talk and everybody, and I know Jim Nill has not begged, but it said, hey, Joe, the door's open here. Does he want to come back here? Does he want to go to San Jose if he wants to do anything besides fish and play golf?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Because I've heard rumblings about Pavelski's name in San Jose.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to go be a general manager or anything, but I just wonder how he feels. Like, I really like this organization, but I was in that other one for 17 years or 18 or whatever it was.
It's a fabulous question. I think the Stars continue to try to do everything they can to make sure that they are on his radar, like you said, when if and when he wants to.
And I forgot, I could have sent this to you guys, but it's 8 minutes long, so I know you don't want to play it. But I have the induction USA Hockey Hall of Fame video here, and my one of my best friends, Jack Saskov, was coach for Joe. And he sent it to me last night. It's very good. It goes from a high school year, youth, and then high school. And so they were showing all this stuff, I'm assuming, at the induction and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, just a question I think about sometimes, because I know that, sometimes it's where you spend the most amount of time with, and, his relationship with Thornton, and Thornton's back there, right? I mean, Thornton's in the organization now.
He's officially part of it.
I just wonder where he is.
Sean?
Do you think that the Ben Bishop experience with the Stars gives either the Stars or Joe Pavelski any second thought about Joe coming back to hockey operations? And I want to be clear on that. Not that the Ben Bishop experience was, but
what
Ben
do you
Bishop
mean by that?
Ben Bishop no longer works with the Stars, right? He came in, he retired. He was going to try to do some things like Rich Peverly, and then Ben has a much younger family than Joe does. Obviously, Joe and his wife only have the one son, Nate, who's much older and everything like that. But Ben Bishop stepped away from the Stars because I did my entire career about this. I want to be a family man. I want to do that. Joe has other interests outside of hockey. He has his golf. He has his fishing. I believe he runs a restaurant in Madison called Lean Feast. I believe there's a couple other things he's invested in as well. And so from a all in, all out type thing, and Luds, you know this about Joe, he's a guy who I don't know if he can half-ass anything, right? Like I don't think he can half-ass anything. Like I don't think he's a guy who's going to sign up to be a part-time person in anything. I think he can do the appearance, he can do this here or there, but I think he's someone who needs to be able to be passionate about something and go through and do it fully. And I don't know if that opportunity is really there in either Dallas or San Jose, because does he want to go scout? I'm pretty sure he wants to stay in Wisconsin and live life there pretty comfortably.
Why wouldn't you want to stay in God's country?
Exactly. So I think it's, when it comes to the whole Joe Pavelski thing, it's so easy for us to think, oh, well, these players just want to jump into working for a team or doing this or that. But there's so many other things that he has the capabilities to do. And he has already, even when he was playing, he has worked with his business partner, Matt Fornataro, with a company called Torch Pro to kind of start building up some other business portfolio outside of hockey. So I just, the whole Joe Pavelski within an organization, I think it's always going to be more of a figurehead thing, someone who is there and who's always a phone call away and everything like that. But I think Joe's kind of passion is going to be those things he wasn't able to pursue fully because he was really damn good at pursuing this NHL thing fully for so long.
What is
a great point?
What is the right
Hey
job
guys, can we have a break?
Well, let's carry this over real quick here on the DLS Stars podcast.
I don't ever get to ask questions. I was going to ask a very important question.
Well, guess what? Sean's going to do your merchandise read today.
Oh, good. What, Kat, why are you walking around in our shot here?
Go ahead, Sean. You have 54 seconds.
Just like you should never half-ass anything in life, you should full-ass your support of DLLS and buy some merch. So you should go check out the store allcitynetwork.com
Ratings
for
just dropped.
and you can go and you can get wonderful shirts. Ryan, I think you're going to pop some shirts up on the screen. I had the amalgamation shirt on the show last night. I don't know what graphics are going to pop up. Whichever one is going to pop up. There we go. The rookie
This
of
is
the
the
year
new one, Sean.
Yes. The Paige Becker's Rookie of the Year Row T-shirt. As if you saw the show last night, we explained
Paige Booker's, by the way.
Very good.
Yeah. I just want to make sure you know. I know.
Yep.
What team did she play for, Luds?
Dallas.
That's right.
So
Dallas. Hang on.
What's her
I googled
name?
it this morning.
Hey, wait, what's her name?
At least I'm trying. Damn, what's it called? I was
Yesterday-
going to say the Dallas Stars, but I don't think that's
Yesterday, it was today years old when Luds realized there
Well,
was a
yeah, it doesn't even say on
WNBA
this
team
thing.
in Dallas. That's right.
Dallas Wings.
There,
The
you
Wings.
got it. Perfect.
there we go. Anyhow,
I got you,
go
Paige.
buy some shirts. We got pretty cool merch, and you can be a full-ass supporter of DLS and not half-ass anything. So
I love it, Sean. Let's talk about Supporters Club. It's interesting right now because we're all going through this little YouTube switcheroo thing where your little nickname isn't showing up. It's now your username. I don't know if we have a full-on fix for that yet or if we're waiting, but either way, yeah, it's not an us thing. It's a YouTube thing. You still get your Supporters Club badges if you sign up for this. Again, look, this is wear a moose hat on your head, true sickle level stuff. This is not for your casual fan. This is I watched the live shows a lot. I'm in the chats, and I want to stand out.
Here comes our moose model.
Speaking of moose models,
Oh,
Luds
no, I didn't mean me.
now Luds
Oh,
has got it.
Jesus.
Lost the hair already. But we're talking, you get a badge, you get access to the special emojis, which is fun, all sorts of good stuff, and behind the scenes content. We'll talk more about that later. Supporters Club here on DLLS. Do
Perfect.
you want to ask Sean the question about, we were talking about Pavelski and being a coach, hockey operations?
I will say there's no chance Joe wants to be a coach. There's not a
God.
chance.
Not
But
at all.
I'm just wondering, and the reason I asked this question, Sean, is because my second or third year out, Bob Gainey had given me a job upstairs, and he gave me an office to sit upstairs. And I'm like, huh? Alls I was, when there were issues with players and coaches, maybe coach, because we had that guy, go talk to Luds. And then Luds had the option of going to the general manager, Bob Gainey, going to the coach, Ken Hitchcock, or taking care of it himself. So it was really a place to vent. And I just think that the relationship that Joe has with these players would be something in that
That's
neighborhood where,
interesting.
not that Wyatt would have to be there, but who's the next Wyatt? Or
It's
who's,
basically having him be an assistant coach without having to do
you're a sounding
the
board.
hours and the travel of the coaching staff.
Yeah, and so when Gully said, Gully could say, Gully could be the kind of guy and say, Joe, listen, I've been talking to such and such, and it's Maverick. I'm just using for an example, and I'm not getting through to him. Like, there's a relationship there. Maybe not as much as there's, with some of the other guys, but he's more relative, meaning that he's in their generation
Be a safe space,
as a
too.
hockey player. He's
Yeah.
not out of the league for the last 15 years. So I don't know if that's the kind of role that he would want, or if that's what his best role would be. I don't think he's going to go around and be a scout. I don't think he's player development. I think he's got to be hands-on, more from a mental side of the game for these guys.
Sounds like a lot like a coach, just maybe
Yeah.
not with all the coaching duties
Yeah,
and time commitment.
Well, it
If-
encompasses
if I-
a
if
lot,
I-
I think.
If I had to guess anything for Joe's future involvement in hockey, if you had to be like, oh, crystal ball, where could he be in 5 or 6 years? I see him more on the other side of things than being on a team. I see him being an agent, because I could see him being a guy who he could be an agent. He'd probably find someone else to partner with as well on that, but he'd be the type of person who has built these relationships with players, I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to go. Obviously, we've all talked very famously about who Wyatt Johnston's agent is, Andy Scott. But if all of a sudden Joe wanted to get into the agency game, he's got the contacts, he's got the numbers, he's one of the most well-connected people. He's got the path where you connect with any level of player. And on top of that, when you're an agent, you can live wherever the heck you want, and you can golf all year round too. So I think if Joe ends up working in the extended hockey world where it's beyond a ceremonial spot and everything like that, I could see him on the agency side. And that's clearly, and I want to be clear, that's just me reading tea leaves. That's not anything Joe has said to me or anything like that. But I just look at his personality, kind of his entrepreneurial approach on things. I could see him going more into that realm than wanting to work for one team. So.
All right, guys, let's switch to Victory Green Carpet. Thankfully, Luds is already starting to demonstrate a keen sense of fashion with the moose hat. But that was one of the things, right? The new relaxed dress code in the NHL overall. Teams have taken different approaches. We've seen the Stars wear already the tracksuits and matching team T-shirts on their travel days, which I have no problem with. This is a little different because this is, walking the red carpet is typically a formal affair when it comes to movie premieres or fashion weeks or whatever reason you would be on a red carpet, the Met Gala, for example. So the Stars always do this to start the home opener slate of their schedule. They walk the Victory Green Carpet. They go right down PNC Plaza, which is between the Madonna and the Dirk statues, heading toward the AAC. And so we have some photos from yesterday. And feel free to throw your opinions out of whichever you like, dislike, whatever. Ryan, it's dealer's choice. What do you have? Throw a photo up there, and we will go with what we have. Look, okay, I'm going to start. This is the one that wins for me. Best one because of the adorable cuteness factor. This is Radek Faksa and his son Elliot wearing matching suits. And we actually have two photos of that, Ryan. I don't know if you have the other one right at your fingertips. Sharp, clean haircuts. Obviously, he adores his son, Elliot, and I've talked to Radek about him and being a dad. Now he has a little girl as well. And I thought this was really a cool way to do it. And with, you go with the no tie, the fancy T-shirt, but he still looks pretty sharp and classy. I thought that was a great choice.
You're like the Blackwell dude of this segment here. You know who that is?
Blackwell dude?
Yeah.
Not Colin Blackwell?
Colin Blackwell.
Okay.
The guy that
they threw me off.
critiques all the closing. What's his name?
Nothing. Never mind.
No, it's the dude that critiques. He might not even be alive anymore. But this one dude, Blackwell, would always critique all the events and the attire and all that kind of stuff. All the superstars.
That's sort of what this segment is all about.
That's kind of what you are. So
you know what it looks like to me? You ever seen the movie Twins from the '80s with Danny DeVito and
yes,
Arnold Schwarzenegger? That's what it looks like to me.
I like it.
Danny DeVito, Jersey Mike's dude.
Is Radek wearing socks?
I looked closer because you can't see on that one. I saw a different shot from the ones that we used, and I wonder if he's wearing ankle socks, not going barefoot or underneath the shoe.
Yeah,
but you can definitely see exposed ankle there.
For those who don't know, Radek, I once asked Radek about why he wasn't wearing socks with a suit one day, and he told me, Sean, it's called fashion. Maybe someday you'll get it. So anytime we're talking about Radek and fashion, that story is going to come up. So
all right. Let's do whichever one you've got next, because I've got about 7 or 8 total. How about the Liam Bichel one, Luds? I know you have hot sports opinions on the big Swiss defenseman.
He needs it tailored a little bit more for me. And I mean, it looks like he's wearing a big tent that he picked up at the Army surplus store.
I was asking a couple of the reporters that
I like
the team.
the color thing, but what do I know about any of this?
Exactly. I was told, and again,
I just saw the wrinkles in it last night in the shot that you showed.
Yes.
Did you get a close-up of them?
No, we didn't pull that. This is a better photo of the whole ensemble.
But you had a reason why there were wrinkles, right? What is it called?
It's linen, and for anyone that knows, linen is very hard to keep.
I guess linen is wrinkly?
Yes, very.
Oh, okay.
I was told, and I don't know. Look at
me. Am I the last guy right now that should be talking about fashion? For God's sake,
I'm not professing to be fashion forward here, but I was told that the oversized jacket is back in again.
Well, Liam Bichel, what the hell is oversized?
Yeah.
It's like a tarp for a semi truck.
Liam's got the dressed I've been banned from the Olympics. Banned from the Olympics by my country dress going on right there. I am a international criminal. The clothes are too large, and Hockey Switzerland has disagreed with me and won't let me play for them. That's how Liam's dressed right now.
I like it. I saw a comment last night that said that he was dressed like he's going to a 1990s movie premiere. So there's that. I love Thomas Harley. he came with a suit, but wearing the Dallas Stars issued Jake Oettinger cartoon T-shirt underneath. So obviously supporting his goalie. He helped supporting his goalie by scoring some big goals and points so far this season, or a goal and a couple of big points. And that was one that was great. Although it was funny because I saw something on Twitter, I think it was this morning, said there was a video that the Stars put out of a bunch of players walking the red carpet. And the comment was hilarious. It was like male model, male model, male model, male model, and Thomas Harley, which was a shot because I don't think he deserved that, but he had sort of a more casual look to him.
A little more laid back guy. Where's he from?
He's from Syracuse.
Syracuse?
Yep.
Oh, Eastern guy.
He identifies as a Syracuse native, even though he represents Canada because his parents are
Every
both
time
Canadian.
I hear that phrase, I just start to shudder. Identifies with, because it always
I know,
follows up with
I
something
know.
else.
Yeah, we're not talking about gender identity here, though.
I identify with a moose.
How about Matt
Bitches.
Duchene?
How
What was
about
that?
Matt? Wait,
He
ask
played
him how
a
he's feeling.
He played
or-
a drop, but our speaker's so quiet today, I couldn't even hear it. And Ryan's over there chuckling. So you guys heard whatever that drop was. We have no idea. Here's Matt Duchene. Luds, you had a funny line last night about it.
What, the camel?
Yeah, you said it looked like he was about to go duck hunting.
Well, yeah, maybe if he was wearing camel last night, Middleton would have never found him. No, I think, I mean, he kind of looks like the, what's the guy that tamed the animals all the time?
Talking
He
about
got bit by a snake.
You're talking about Jack Hanna, or are you talking about
no,
the crocodile
Jack
hunter?
Hanna, more Jack Hanna, but
Yeah.
the other guy is the one that
Steve
bit the
Irwin.
duck. Yeah, Jack Hanna was always awesome on Johnny Carson.
He was.
Anyway, people
Again,
don't even know who the hell
super
Johnny
topical
Carson is.
references, but he was great. Sean, Rope Hintz, Jake Oettinger, Colin Blackwell, Tyler Sagan. We have all those. Any thoughts on any of those? Oh, here's Rope.
Well, speaking of casual,
I mean, that's exactly what I kind of expected Rope to wear after they changed the dress code rules. So I'm not unsurprised at all on that. That's how Rope dresses every day, I believe. So
The comments were.
why are we calling it the red carpet, by the way?
It's not. It's the green
Green-
carpet.
Well, you keep saying red carpet.
I said it once.
No, you just said it in the lead in the last time.
That's what I was saying. It said just like you walk a red carpet, they do anyway. The Rope Hintz comments that everybody keeps talking about is that he has Kurt Cobain hair right now.
He
Yeah.
does. Just hope we know he doesn't have his lifestyle, so that's good.
That's good. I thought Jake looked very sharp last night. Take a look at the Stars starting goalie. He had a matching plaid suit.
By the way, how does this segment go over for the listeners?
Well, if they're
That aren't
listening, they're going to have to go to the YouTube broadcast because this part is, of course, very visual. And then I liked Colin Blackwell, the whole Texas vibe. We have a video of Colin wearing the cowboy hat and sort of a white, I don't know if
I saw
white
this.
or
Isn't
cream
this
colored
where
suit.
he goes and grabs a hat or something.
There was a
like
video
that
of that where he
and
grabs a hat
brings
that
to
says,
somebody?
I just hope Wyatt Johnston has fun.
Yeah, but he takes it to somebody to get him to autograph.
He takes
for
it to
him.
Wyatt.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that last
Speaking of Wyatt, here's Tyler Sagan and Wyatt Johnston looking sharp. But I said to you last night, Luds, it kind of looked like they were dressed more to go to a nightclub.
night. Well, they probably were last night.
It was like very Night of the Roxbury for me. And I think that's just about it because we have an ad break. So, Sean, any final thoughts about the fashion, or are we way above our depths?
we are way out of our depths because I shouldn't be judging other people's fashion. I'm smart enough to admit that. I'm also of the for all of the talk and excitement where people are like, oh my God, they're going to relax the dress code. Players are going to show off their personality, everything like that. And this is kind of what you get. And you get very, not lazy, but you kind of, get lazy casual looks. And that's fine. That's just what you want to do. I think it was hilarious when people thought NHL players were going to turn this into an NBA style catwalk thing, which it was never going to happen. So like, this is what you wanted. So this is what you got. So I hope you like it. If you were one of those people.
Sean, you know what the best news is about this whole segment? We don't have to do it until next year again.
That's right.
If we're on the air yet. But
there we go. Up next, let's do some NHL news and notes to close out the show here on DLLS.
But before that, I think we're going to talk about the DLS free newsletter. It is one of the best features one can get with DLS. It is free. You you should be a diehard, but if you're not a diehard and you need a little bit of taster to kind of get into the spirit of the thing, go to alldls.com/newsletter, where you get something every day, every Monday through Friday. You get notes on stories, what's been going on in the day. It really is this place that will allow you to be the most in tune, plugged in Dallas sports fan. You'll even know that there is a WNBA team called the Dallas Wings. Information like that will make it in there. So join the newsletter. You get access to cool writing. You get access to all this other stuff. It's where you also maybe get a heads up on some other stuff that I think Owen might tease in the second half of this ad break. So alldls.com/newsletter. There we go.
Perfect, Sean. Let's talk about being a DLLS diehard. Well, the most recent sale is done. There might be others in the future. They have been periodically from time to time, but the value is there whether there's a sale on the annual subscription or not. The QR code under Sean is a great way to sign up. And when you sign up to be a diehard, you get all sorts of perks. One of them is, remember the merchandise ad that Sean got through with Luds talking about different t-shirts and WNBA stars and everything like that? You get 20% off merchandise. You also get a free t-shirt when you sign up to be a diehard for the first time for your first year of your annual subscription. Plus, you get access to all the writing that's on our site, whether it's Sean or Sam for the Stars. Ron is our new Mavs beat writer, so you'll be doing that as Tim Cato is now moving into a national role for All City Network, which is great for him and for us. And, of course, you have Clarence with the Cowboys. You have Jeff for the Rangers, and a lot of really good content. Plus, you get access to the DLS diehard only Discord lounge, and that is where we actually broke the fact that our Stars takeover was available before we said it on the show, and it had quickly sold out. These folks that bought tickets to this, you have to be a diehard to do it, but you get 20% discount for events, and thus come to the studio, watch our pregame show, go eat with us at Hooters Next Door, go to the game against the Penguins on December 7th. It's going to be a fun time, and maybe even Luds will show you the moose hat.
No.
Not that one?
We're leaving these little silly hats here.
All right. NHL News and Notes. Let's start with, as this is really appropriate for Luds wearing the moose hat, a very somber moment in Montreal last night. We've already eulogized on our show the passing of Ken Dryden, one of the most legendary goalies in NHL history. But in typical Canadiens fashion, and Luds, you're a member of that alumni, won a Stanley Cup there, they do things exceptionally high-class way, and they did a tribute before the game last night. Here are some of the photos from the Canadiens. There's the Ken Dryden mask in the spotlight on the net. They had some of the famous living alums from years past with the Canadiens coming out to there. They did a video tribute where they had Bob Gainey narrating a segment of Dryden's very famous book, The Game, from 1983. And look at that, the close-up of the mask, I think, just is a really cool shot. And then owner Jeff Molson of the Canadiens pictured holding one of the early masks, which doesn't even look like it provides enough protection, next to the retired plaque for Ken Dryden. I just wanted to show a couple photos because I thought that was really well done.
I know that you had the video of it. Did you watch the whole thing?
I haven't. It was just showed it with you the first few seconds. About a 3-minute tribute.
I was trying to imagine how the goalie mask appeared. And the reason I say that is I could see the presentation. They generally do something on the Jumbotron, do all that kind of stuff.
Oh, actually on the ice.
Yeah. Well, what I would think is when it was dark and everybody, again, this is how I would have done it. When everybody's watching the Jumbotron and watching the presentation and you see all the alumni guys stand on the bench, it'd be dark in the rest of the arena. I'd have one of the worker guys would be sneaking out there in the dark, putting that mask there, and then when it's all over, all the lights would go down and that light would come on. And that's how I would have ended it. I'm just curious.
I hope the reveal was like that. I haven't seen it.
But I will say that nobody does these kind of ceremonies, events like Montreal, and they are the best at it, and people will talk about it all the time, how they do it. And there's just so much pride there, and they treat their alumni, their players, like they're gold. And, you've seen so many of these iconic pictures we were talking about earlier. You go back into the all black and white, everybody's sitting in the building with 3-piece suits on, and they got the derby hats on, the derbies, and they just, it's a religion to them. The game is a religion to them.
Sean, you were in Detroit. You are still in Michigan, but you were there this morning for morning skate. Red Wings and Panthers tonight up at Little Caesars Arena. And you were the first I saw to tweet out news from Paul Maurice's press conference up there about defenseman Dmitry Kulikov.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, it's Paul Maurice made a Paul Maurice style joke of we're doing no short-term injuries this season, only long-term ones. And so Kulikov is out now for 5 months after having surgery on to repair a labrum. So for the Panthers, right? It's losing any player, defenseman. It's for 5 months. That's going to be a tough adjustment. One of the reasons the Panthers won the Stanley Cup last year was the way they were able to adjust to things, and having Seth Jones to start the season. I actually caught up with Seth this morning, and before I even knew the Kulikov news, we chatted about his visit to was it Farmers Branch where he brought the cup? Was Farmers Branch
Valley.
the ring?
No, you know what, Sean? We weren't here. I thought it was Valley, but you know what? I only saw a little part of the video, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. But either way, I asked Seth, just caught up with him this morning about his day with the cup and bringing it to Dallas, and he said one of the most important things to him was when he won the cup, one of the first things he thought about with his day was bringing it to Dallas youth hockey. That was something that he wanted to do right away. It was something that there was no question about it. That was going to be one of the first things to do. So to kind of connect that to the Kulikov news, the Panthers are going to miss Kulikov, but they're not going to miss him as much because they've got Seth Jones to start the season. So but this Panthers team is interesting because they are, obviously, we all know what they've done the past 2 years and the past 3 years, but it is a group that has embraced the grind and the battle of what it means to defend and how everybody brings the challenge to you every night. And they have every reason to have started this season poorly. And instead they are 3-0-1. And I would not be surprised if they're 4-0-1 after this evening.
Luds, I want to ask you about the other big injury news that we heard from Monday with an update today, and it has to do with Ottawa Senators captain Brady Tkachuk, out at least 4 weeks with a hand injury suffered on a cross-check Monday night by Nashville's captain Roman Josi, as Sean gets the hat in there. Apparently surgery has not yet been ruled out.
Sean, do you know that somehow Ryan got a good look at your closet with about 37,000 hats in it too, by the way?
He's got the good hat rack back there.
Yeah, you've got a good hat rack.
Yes, so we had to go with something that would fit in Montreal. I had to go with a good hat that would fit in Montreal right now. So,
what are we talking about, Brady? Yeah, the second opinion thing is always interesting to me because, I think it was supposed to be originally, what'd you say, 4 weeks?
At least
right?
4
Isn't
weeks.
that kind of what they said? When somebody gets a second opinion to me, it's like, can we do something quicker? Like whatever I can do, can it be quicker? And so he's going to get a second opinion. Whether that meant the first group said we got to have surgery, and which would probably be a more closer to 8 week kind of thing, or maybe he's saying, could we do this? But Brady Tkachuk is like his dad Keith, like we all were then, throwbacks. Like you don't miss games and you don't you don't get surgeries until when you're in your 70s, if you even are around by then.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. Quick, way too early reactions. Islanders and Sabres are the only two teams in the NHL without a win. They are both 0-3, no point. Without any points is what I mean. They are completely devoid of anything to show on the score sheet. Buffalo has only scored 2 goals in their first 3 games. They are off to a wretched start. And the New York Rangers are 2-3, but they are 0-3 at Madison Square Garden with 0 goals in 3 home games against Pittsburgh, Washington, and then last night Edmonton. And yet Igor Shesterkin has sparkling goaltending numbers.
That's my guy. That's the guy I took to win that Vezina. Again, he's been the only bright spot. But again, it's the first 3 games, and I don't think they're going to panic, and they're kind of building back up.
Do you guys think that Buffalo is in panic mode now because they've had a really poor start, having come off, a long list?
Buffalo is in panic, but they've been in panic for 14 years.
Yeah.
And I think the players are doing the same thing, like, whoa, let's tap the brakes, And then there's Lindy. But apparently, Lindy has in his contract that at the end of this year, he's got a job upstairs if he wants
Is that right?
Yeah. So
he has a backup plan.
And so Kekalainen just happens to be brought in as some special assistant there. So maybe he ends up being the general manager here. I don't know. We brought that up with the Buffalo guys, I think, when we had them on, and they didn't really want to talk about it that much.
I wouldn't be surprised if on, I think, February, the Olympic break goes to what, February 28th, right? 26th, 27th, something like that.
Sounds
So
about
I wouldn't
right.
be surprised if March 2nd, Pete DeBoer is introduced as a gold medal
Pete
winning.
DeBoer will be behind the bench in Dallas then?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
And that game
Buffalo.
back here. Yeah. Well,
All right.
Wouldn't that be appropriate?
That's it for today.
Wonder if Jake will start that game.
We've got a show. That would be interesting.
There'd be no doubt.
We're going to
Jake will
talk
be
more
starting
about
game.
that next week because ESPN did a great feature they released yesterday, and we'll talk about it. Pre-game show tomorrow night, much earlier, 7 o'clock game, so 6:15 pre-game show. Luds and I will be right here. Sam is supposed to be back in the AAC, so he should be there. For Ryan, for Sean, for Luds, the Moose Hat, for Kat, her cameo, I'm Owen. Thanks for joining us on this hump day here on DLLS.
We all silly like the mayor.